And welcome to another Doncaster preview. This time for tonight's card, it's Monday, the 14th, and we kick off with an A3 grade event. There's a couple of unknowns, well, three unknowns actually. One, Killybegs Bell, got a bit of a chance for Sean Parker as a puppy. Had two runs over the short of 450-metre trip and a decent trial when beating actually Sharpie's Tom Tom, who's also making his debut here, switching from Sheffield, an A3 grade there. And the other one making a debut is Romantic Coil, an unraced, youngish sort of greyhound for Kathy Lister, who's actually, the cow's been suffering a little bit with the cough and just coming back. So might just need the run. All in all, it is very, very tough. But Rycroft Nixon Trap 2 is going to give Killybegs Bell plenty of room. So I've not put this up on the sheet as a bet, but it has been backed. And if you can get around about a 3-1, very, very tiny bet, Trap 1, Killybegs Bell, to improve as a youngster. So the second race is also a tricky enough race, and again a debutant in Track 1, Dingy's Herb. Now this one is 4 years old now. John Sharp now trains a bit on and off the card at Sheffield, running in sprints, but if you go back to the form from last year, was actually a D1 runner at Toaster and also won an open race over 500 at 29.80. Now that would be good enough to win this. Got a great draw with a slow starter, Melody's Pearl, drawn on the outside. Footfield Adam has kind of been breaking okay, but not doing too much, but could get into the contest with a decent start. Mount Cashel Jazz in 4, coming back after a little bit of a layoff, but you can never write off a Sean Parker greyhound with a bit of a break. Has got some kind of a chance. Barnside Nyla got a better break last time out and beat Footfield Adam, but I'm not too sure whether she'll break as well again. And Keely Rocket's another one, a 4.5-year-old, not run since July, but has got a little bit of early. So tricky enough race, but I have had a little small bet on Track 1 here at around about a 3-1 chance. Dingy's Herb to win on debut. In the third race, we've got to again, and Hawkfield Wisdom again. They mate in 3. I think the last 3 runs they've met from these very traps, and it's one of those where the others, I think they've got plenty to do. These really are the 2 and 3 are the only proper B6 runners. Milkhair Dawn, blitzed a B7 field. Actually had Drimara Grove, who runs from Trap 6 in behind. Bandit Bolt's probably a B7 runner, a sort of slow starter that runs on late. And Letham's Mario, he hadn't won for about over a year, but again, he won a lowly B7. So they're well up in grade, the rivals here, and it looks between 2 and 3, but they have been well found in the market. If you can get 3-1 the pair of them, because they have come in, so I can't recommend them on the tipping sheet. But if you can get 3-1 the pair, slightly favour 2 because of the unexposed nature of Blainmore Fitzy, just over 3 there. The fourth race, I've put up a couple of these because I think they're massively overpriced. The top Bring It On Buddy has got a decent draw to work from. Not always the best of breakers, but needs room to operate. A bit clumsy sometimes, but to be fair, she does stay. And at around about the 6-1, 5-6-1 mark, it's well overpriced. And I thought the other runner was Trap 6, Donegal Jerry. He bumped into his kennel mate last week, finding a growing a leg, Heathlaw Nelly, but he ran particularly well. So I'm not going to give up on him. Donegal Jerry's going to be the bet here, around about a 7-2 chance, and save on the stayer, Bring It On Buddy. They do go together as a forecast as well. Moving on to the fifth, and the best bet on the card for me, I think this dog will go off really, really short. So I've back this one 5-2, 11-4. You can still get this. Hello Kiara, Trap 1, got a really good draw to work from. She used to run over 4.83s, and she was more of a smash breaker than anything else. She hasn't really been smashing the bars down like she can. So we just need to get a decent break and take advantage of a really good draw here. She's got plenty of 2-3 as well. She'll rail tightly around the first 2 bends, and I think she'll get herself in the race. Anna Blake's a good ally because he's got a bit of early dash, but he'll be moving off, and he's not really driving the bend that well. I think the only danger is Ivy Hill Blaze in trap 4. And if that one drifted out to 11 to 4, 3 to 1, I'd probably save. But it is a real good bet for me, trap 1, Hello Kiara. In the 6th race, a tricky enough race, this one. A lot of early dash. Barnford Orchid probably got the bit again, but seemed to just ease up somewhat. Mad Dog in trap 3, he'll be edging into the 2 dog as well, so that's not really going to help. The other runners, probably Rosie Star, dropped in grade, plot draw on the outside in trap 6. That one's about 20 weeks out of season, so I'm not too sure whether she's necessarily going to improve, but she's already won in B3 literally 3 runs ago, so she'll be a runner. I was sort of top and bottom there, but not really jumping up and down to bet 6 at 2 to 1. So if they went 7 to 2, 3 to 1 each, might have a small bet on the Matchbook Exchange. 7th race I thought was really, really tough. A watching race for me. Sharp is Tweety Pie in trap 2, making her debut for John Sharp. 6 Key the Aussie, they trialled against each other. There was nothing separated them in the trial. That's Paul Pryor's debutant, been running up Drumbo in sprints and a slow breaker there. So again, we can't really form a strong opinion in this race. Magical Jimmy's switched to red. I didn't really know whether he would be suited to the one. He seems to run off on the turns. So all in all, I thought it was a really tricky race, and I lined race 7. Race 8, I've got a couple of small bets in race 8. I keep expecting Splash Dash Ernie for Sean Parker to improve as a youngster. I don't think he's really progressed, but he's got a fair makeup here because Katunda Dottie, his next door neighbour in 2, she kind of smashes and just runs off a little bit on the turns. So he could get into the contest. Brennan Stanley might be a little bit of a hazard because she's a fast starter. She's 12 and a half weeks out of season, nearly 13 weeks out of season, Brennan Stanley. So she could improve. Afton Asia's up 2 grades for whatever reason, I don't know, for not winning. Beautiful Deb was the other runner. A slow breaker, but will stay on through beaten rivals. Miss Kane's not really firing. Got a deal of trapping ability, but not really coming out of the second turn. So I'm just going to have a real tiny bet. Trap 1, Splash Dash Ernie around about a 5 to 1 chance. And again, Beautiful Deb in trap 5 at around about 6 to 1. Now we keep falling for Sugar Biscuit. This one now switches from slow break, when a massive chance last week. This is a tougher race actually, but I think the makeup is going to enable Sugar Biscuit to get off the mark. I noticed actually it was a real slow breaker at Sunderland when there as well, was running from 4 and 5 at Sunderland, but I think the red's going to suit here. As I say, it's a slightly tougher race, but around about 3 to 130, I thought Sugar Biscuit was a bet. The next sprint, real tricky race. Again, Titanic Tip's got a squeeze on the inside, not really a sprinter particularly. And Racketall Vicky's got some kind of chance on early, but not really quite driving the bend and cutting across as well. So good squeeze up the field, and all in all, too tough. Race 10. Race 11's a lowly B4 grade event, and the runners look to be 5 and 6. Moss Blue Boy is a shade of odds on, and I don't think really he should be that short. Thought Baby Tumble at around about 6 to 1 might be slightly overpriced. But again, it's a real tough race. Not too many runners. And I think at the prices, I probably might have an interest in Baby Tumble at around about a 6 to 1 chance, but minimum stakes. On to the last. A tough race, this one, a B2. I thought the runners were Blast Off Million 1 and Joe Lad in 4. But I thought Bungie had plenty to do in trap 6. So all in all, a little bit tricky. I thought the runners were 1 and 4, but not enough in stick. And of course, you can sign up with Matchbook using the code WatchAlong. And if you do have a £30, so have a look then. Track 1, small bet, Dingy's Herb in the 628, around about 3 to 1. I've bet both 1 and 6, Bring It On Buddy, and Donegal Jerry in the 6.58. Track 1, Hello Kiara's a nap. Fair old bet there at 11-4. I'd even bet that one sort of 7-4. You'd go down as low as that. The 8.17, small bets on the youngster Slapdash Ernie in 1 and Beautiful Debs in 5. And we're going to bet the sprinter in the 8.38. Hope we get a break out of Sugar Biscuit and lead into the turn. They're the bets then for tonight's card, Monday the 14th. As ever, be lucky.